Welcome back to Books with AR. Chapter 56, Entering the Stage 6. Unfortunately for him, his prayers didn't come true. Wang Lin's eyes flashed, then his attraction technique formed a hand and caught Yang Yi. Then a stink bomb was tossed into the air. It flew in an arc and landed on Yang Yi's head. Yang Yi felt the space tighten around him as if the air around him was sucked out and a force was pressing him from all sides, making him unable to move. He could only stare as the stink bomb fell toward him. With a bang, Yang Yi was hit by the stink bomb. His entire face was black and his body emitted a disgusting stench. He couldn't be bothered with his face being black or with the stench. His face was filled with horror. When he felt the squeezing force loosen a bit, he used all the power in his body to break free. His heart pounded as he thought, this dragon capture hand is too strong. I'll lose no matter what. Fine, let's go all out. Wang Lin faintly smiled at Yang Yi and said, there are still more than 10 seconds left. You can continue. Yang Yi gritted his teeth and spat out a mouthful of red light. The red light grew large and turned into a long, sword-shaped red light and flew toward Wang Lin with strong sword chi. Meanwhile, he moved again and threw out handfuls of talismans. The talismans all grew in activated techniques that rained down on Wang Lin. Wang Lin sneered. He activated his attraction technique and formed a hand. He waved it and destroyed all of the talismans in the air. Then he created another hand and grabbed the red light. The red light dissipated and revealed its true form, a red flying sword. The flying sword was stopped in midair and continued to struggle. Wang Lin scanned the flying sword and found that it had a piece of divine sense inside, just like the stink bomb. He easily erased the divine sense left on it and used a bit more force with his attraction technique. With a cracking sound, the flying sword split in half and fell to the ground. Wang Lin's expression changed greatly, and he coughed up a mouthful of blood. He took a few steps back and said, Brother Wang's ancient technique, the dragon capture hand, is very strong, but I don't admit defeat. What defeated me was not you, but your ancient technique. Wang Lin was stunned, but he let out a smile. Ancient technique, dragon capture hand? This is the first time I've heard of it. Humph. You don't have to deny it. Your dragon capture hand has already been seen through by my uncle master. Yang Yi walked down from the stage, and all of the Xuan Dao Sect disciples got out of the way. The smell on his body was simply too awful. Elder Ouyang's face reddened slightly. He coughed and stiffly said, Junior Wang Lin, the technique you used really is the dragon capture hand. These ancient techniques are very unpredictable and powerful. I've only ever heard of it in some old texts myself. I never thought that the Heng Yue Sect still had a technique that has been lost for thousands of years, no less from a powerful sect from 500 years ago. As he kept speaking, even he himself began to believe it. Even though it was not the dragon capture hand, it must have been an ancient technique, or it would not have been so powerful. Wang Lin was dumbfounded. He had practiced this attraction technique for more than 20 years in the dream world, so its power would not be weak. This was only a small matter. What was important was that these fights made Wang Lin realize his current strength. Situnan said before that Wang Lin was at the half circle of the spirit movement stage, which was the 14th layer of qi condensation in the cultivation country of Zhao. This meant that he was one step away from reaching the peak of qi condensation. As for why he felt like he was still at the 3rd layer, Situnan couldn't guess what was wrong. Wang Lin had once brought up the words of Brother Zhang about cutting one's mortal ties, but with a face of disdain, Situnan told him that there was no such thing. That was only a rumor spread by the juniors of these small cultivation countries. Cultivation is a heaven-defying act. These small things don't matter at all. He stated that in his home country, there was a cultivator at the spirit severing stage, but he couldn't let go of his family ties, so he stayed home and enjoyed life with his family, and in the end, he still reached spirit transformation after a number of years. This lifestyle becomes very dull after a long time. After all, a cultivator's lifespan is much longer than an average person, so to normal people, it looks like cultivators don't care about these things. Situnan finally concluded that this had something to do with the heaven-defying bead. Because Wang Lin cultivated so much in the heaven-defying bead space, it caused a dissynchronization between the dream space and the real world. So while Wang Lin's true strength was at the 14th layer, his body only showed that he was at the 3rd layer. After a while, the dissynchronization will be gone, so it was not a big deal. With the power of the 14th layer of key condensation and more than 20 years of hard work on the attraction technique, no wonder its power would cause people to have crazy guesses. Wang Lan narrowed his eyes and said to Wang Lin, is the technique you used really some ancient technique? He was not currently in the mood to find what the name of the technique was, but he wholeheartedly wanted to make the Xuan Dao Sect lose face. Wang Lin shook his head and smiled and said, Sect head, the technique Junior used is clearly the attraction technique. As for the dragon capture hand, the disciple has never heard of it. Wang Lin secretly praised Wang Lin for being smart. He looked toward the 3 Xuan Dao Sect elders and laughed. Friend Ouyang, I can tell you that this technique is not the dragon capture hand, but the most basic technique of my Heng Yue Sect, the attraction technique. Your disciples can't even defend against the most basic technique of my Heng Yue Sect, and you guys are making up this dragon capture hand to justify it. Elder Ouyang was pretty embarrassed, but on the surface he couldn't back down. He retorted, Friend Wang Lin, you don't have to deny it. Humph, I already saw through it. This is the dragon capture hand. Dao Zhu let out a laugh and said to Sect Head Huanglong, Sect Head, I think that name is pretty good. How about we change the attraction technique's name to the dragon capture hand? Huang Lin's eyes lit up and gave Dao Zhu a praising look, and he said, Good. From now on, my Heng Yue Sect's attraction technique will be renamed the Dragon Capture Hand. I'd like to thank the Xuan Dao Sect for the name. Elder Ouyang and the 2 other elders' faces were full of bitterness. They shook their heads in silence. Wang Lin stood on the stage, pondering. After the last 2 matches, he had gained great confidence in his strength, but the opponents were too weak to test his full power. Although his spiritual energy was at the same level as someone at the 14th layer of key condensation, he was a bit short in terms of technique. He only had proficiency in the attraction technique. In order to test how strong he truly was, he suddenly said, Fellow senior brothers of the Xuan Dao Sect, all of you can come up at once.
Welcome back to Books with AR, Chapter 57, Entering the Stage 7. All of the Xuan Dao Sect disciples became furious. They all secretly cursed Wang Lin for being too arrogant, but none of them dared to go up. Elder Ouyang and the other 2 elders were also frowning and looking at Wang Lin with unfriendly gazes. Wang Lin raised his head and let out a laugh. His current demeanor was exactly the same as Zhou Peng's before him. He asked, Xuan Dao Sect, are you all too scared to even all come up at once? All of the Heng Yue Sect disciples became very excited and started to cheer loudly. Is the trash of the Xuan Dao Sect too scared to come out? Where did all of that arrogance go? Come out! Senior brother Wang Lin is invincible. Punch the Xuan Dao Sect. Kick the Xuan Dao Sect. Even his spit can drown the Xuan Dao Sect. Your senior brother was not good enough. Your second senior brother was also not enough. Do you guys have a 3rd senior brother? All of you, come out together. Liu Feng, come out and die. The Heng Yue Sect disciples became even rowdier, and Huang Long's smile became wider and wider until one of the Xuan Dao Sect disciples who couldn't stand it anymore finally shouted, Wang Lin, you are too arrogant. It is you who wants all of us to come up. Fellow Marshall brothers, let's all go up and beat him up. That's right. This is his request, so it's not against the rules. Elders, let us all go up. Elder, this Wang Lin is too arrogant. Let us all go up. The Xuan Dao Sect disciples asked to go up one by one. Elder Ouyang clenched his teeth and said, Since the Heng Yue Sect requested it, then whoever wants to go, go up. The moment he finished speaking, 3 disciples immediately jumped onto the stage. Soon, 7 to 8 more disciples came onto the stage. There were even a few female disciples amongst them. With a shout from someone, they all took out their magical treasures and attacked Wang Lin.
Wang Lin didn't mind at all. He activated the attraction technique. He created a few giant hands and swept them at the crowd of people. Suddenly, several people were sent flying. Then he took a few steps back, and the giant hands grabbed the Xuan Dao Sect disciples like they were flies and threw them into the distance. Screams came from the crowd. The Xuan Dao Sect disciples were thrown from the stage one by one and were unable to get up after they landed. The more Wang Lin fought, the more he got used to it. His control of the attraction technique became more refined, and after a while, there were only 3 people remaining. One of them was Lu Feng. Wang Lin let out a laugh and took out the last stink bomb. Lu Feng's expression suddenly changed, and he didn't care about the other 2 anymore. He shouted, "Brother Wang, have mercy! I surrender! I surrender!" As he was speaking, he quickly backed up and stepped off the stage. He had already seen what happened to Zhou Peng and Yang Yi, so he didn't want the same thing to happen to himself. The last 2 people were Su Mu and Li Shan. Su Mu saw that things weren't going well. He quickly surrendered and awkwardly got off the stage. Li Shan had a face filled with grief, and he loudly shouted at Wang Lin, "Wang Lin, come, use your last stink bomb on me." With his strength, he would normally not be the last person left, but when he got on the stage, he immediately played dead. Although he was stepped on a few times, it was worth it for the sake of his future in the sect. Li Shan planned this well. If he was also hit by the stink bomb like senior brother and second senior brother, then he might get their pity and his beating might not be as bad. Wang Lin faintly smiled at him. He put away the stink bomb and said, "This is a treasure, so it shouldn't be carelessly used. You can get off the stage." With his attraction technique, he grabbed Li Shan like a small baby chick and threw him off the stage. Elder Ouyang and the 2 other elders were furious. They wished there was a crack in the ground for them to burrow in right now. Wang Long's face was bursting with joy as he said, "Friend Ouyang, who is the winner between the exchange of our 2 sects?" Elder Ouyang snorted and said, "Your Heng Yue Sect has good fortune to have such a good disciple. This exchange is your win. But what I said before is true. All of your Heng Yue Sect nascent soul ancestors are dead. All of the things you want are in this bag of holding. Goodbye." With that, he waved his sleeve and a bag of holding flew out. Huang Long caught the bag of holding with a thoughtful expression. Elder Ouyang let out a shout, and soon a black cloud arrived at his location. Wang Lin looked closer and found that it was the 1,000-foot centipede. Without a word, Elder Ouyang took one step and jumped onto the centipede. All of the Xuan Dao Sect disciples flew onto the centipede with looks of shame, anger, and many other expressions. Seeing the other about to leave, Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he made a decision. He shouted, "Fellow peers of the Xuan Dao Sect and elders, I have an unreasonable demand." With that, his body flew forward with the attraction technique and stopped before the centipede. Elder Ouyang's expression remained unwavering. If it was any other disciple of the Heng Yue Sect, he wouldn't bother. But this Wang Lin's power was amazing, so he suppressed the discontent in his heart and said, "Speak." Wang Lin looked at the centipede and honestly said, "I would like to borrow some poison from the centipede. I hope Elder Ouyang will agree." Before Elder Ouyang could speak, all of the Xuan Dao Sect disciples became furious. One of them shouted, "Wang Lin, don't push us too far. Wang Lin, this centipede is one of the guardian spirit beasts of our Xuan Dao Sect. How can its poison just be lent to you because you ask? You're too arrogant. Elder, this person is too disrespectful to our Xuan Dao Sect. I request the elder to teach him a lesson." The other 2 elders both couldn't stop sneering. Elder Ouyang stared at Wang Lin with an eerie smile. "Junior, scram. I can't be bothered with you." Wang Long and the other elders of the Heng Yue Sect all stepped onto their flying swords and flew up next to Wang Lin and said in a clear voice, "Friend Ouyang, your Xuan Dao Sect is too stingy. It's only the centipede's poison. It's not like he's asking for its life." Elder Ouyang's expression darkened. He looked around and his gaze fell back on Wang Long. He said, "Friend Wang Long, taking a bit of the poison is not a big deal, but for Junior to dare to be so arrogant is too disrespectful to our Xuan Dao Sect." Wang Long hesitated for a moment. He really didn't want to embarrass the Xuan Dao Sect
too much because the news they brought was just too shocking. If the news were true, then the balance of power in the cultivation country of Za was going to be shuffled. Wang Lin hesitated for a while. He was definitely going to get the poison from the centipede. He said to Elder Ouyang, "Elder Ouyang, I only want a bit of the centipede's poison. I promise I won't hurt him. If you agree, I'm willing to exchange something for it."